If you would have told me it was Monday, I would have believed you. So welcome in, guys, for another round of Watercolor Wednesday. So I'm going to be looking for comments on the main page live. Let me turn this down. Cindy, I see you there. Hello, girl. Hello. All right. So last week we did a full page in our watercolor journal. I love to have an art journal so that I can do things and not feel stressed. So last week we played around with what I consider, now someone else might hear me speaking and not agree, but with what I consider to be one of, if not the most important brush strokes to learn in watercolor art, in acrylic art, and for brush lettering. And it is this simple stroke. I'm going to call it the push pull lift, or the pull push lift, right? So there is a video from last Wednesday where I walked you through that stroke. We made some 4-petal flowers, which I think remind me of wild violets. I've had a few people say that they looked like vinca to them, and that is the fun thing, is that it could have been vinca, right? So hold on, bear with me, guys, bear with me. So we then took this that we learned, and you can go back and watch, and we just filled an entire page in our art journal. And I'm going to do the same tonight. So let's walk through. We're going to take last week's stroke, okay, and we're going to modify it, and I'm going to teach you guys how to paint some loose and easy snapdragons, much like these. So I'm going to set that to the side. I have some more reference photos of snapdragons. So this was my rendition of snapdragons from a few weeks ago, just loose. We're not going for the exact flower here. We're going for likeness of the flower. That's, that looseness of it. And just real quick before we get started, I just want to remind you that I will be hosting a 3-day workshop May 20th. It is absolutely free. I will be showing you how to paint this pink flamingo and hand letter. The lettering, of course, is optional. You don't have to letter a quote, but I will be teaching you how to do that on day 2. On day 3, I am going to be teaching you how to paint this very loose, soft rose as an alternate body for your flamingo. So this would be a loose style for day 3. You get a workbook. I do have a kit available with the paper, the Arches paper, and a dot card of the paper, the paint that we'll be using for that. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link in here when we're done at the bottom, or feel free to ask me any questions you might have. You can send me a private message or just leave them in the comments. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my minimal palette. And this palette are a lot of the same colors that are on this dot card, right? So this gives you, these are the artist quality colors. You can try them at home. You can paint quite a few things with them. So I'm going to get my paint here. I'm going to get my water, and I'm just going to mist all of my colors very quickly, wet everything down just a bit. Guys, when you come in, please say hi. Let me know if you are following along on our Watercolor Wednesday. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and call it a series. We're painting flowers. Last week, we learned one of the most, if not the most, important brush strokes. learning this brush stroke right here, like you're going to see tonight, and then modifying it, you are going to be able to paint so many, not only flowers, but just all kinds of things in that loose style. So I'm going to push this to the side. I'm going to even put this to the side. I'm going to go back to our paper from last week. I'm going to get my brush. Tonight I'm going to use the Big Neptune by Princeton, number 8 round. I have my 2 cups of water, 1 dirty, 1 clean. I try to keep my dirty and my clean. I try to keep it a clean show, but I will say I usually end up mucking up all of the water. Oh, I don't really need my eraser, so let's get that out of the way and get our paper here. All right, so I want you to be able to see the paint. All right, so I'm going to wet my brush. I'm just going to tap it off on a piece. Oh, do I have a piece of paper towel? Of course not. Hold on, bear with me, guys. While I'm gone, I would love if you would let me know in the comments below, no matter where you're watching at, one flower that you absolutely love and you just have to see us paint. I want to know the one flower that you want to learn to paint the most, and I want you to put that in the comment section for me while I grab a paper towel. I'm back. If you did not catch last week, go back and watch it. I'll put the link here. When I'm finished, I'll come back and put the link in. Go back and watch so that you can learn how to do that stroke. Now, this week, what I want to do is, and we started to do it here last week as well, we're going to take that simple stroke and we are going to make, you can call it a C stroke. You can refer to it as a comma stroke or as a comma. Okay? Doesn't really matter what we call it. I just want to make sure you guys are able to do it because you'll be able to paint so many fun things. So I've got my, remember how we did our 4-petal flowers? And I'll just show you real quick. Let me get some. I love this pink. I love this pink, right? So just like we did here, remember, we dropped the round of our brush down onto the paper. We pressed it down so the belly of the brush is touching the paper. I gave it a little bit of a wiggle, right? Pulled it back towards myself. You can twist that brush a little bit, or you can just lift it, start lifting it straight up as you're pulling back to that point, right? So we made that stroke. Now, when I do the comma stroke, I'm going to do it, you can do it this way. We can press down again. I'm going to press. I'm going to start to pull that paintbrush back towards me, lifting and turning as I pull. So it looks like a comma when you're writing on paper. Okay. Another way I can do that, and I do this quite a bit with watercolor, is, now remember, this is our brush, our handle, our ferrule. So when we look at the photo of an actual snapdragon, and I don't want you to look at the flower. I love this one because it's back far. When we look at this, we see the flower. Okay, I want you just to notice the fact that it is a tall flower on a green stem. The flowers almost look like little balls when you're back behind, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. We can put together snapdragons, and I'm just going to I'm back. Thank you, Cindy. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Technology just doesn't want to be my friend. I'll try to piece the video together and repost it better. But we can do this again, right? So we are continuing from last week. We're taking this one stroke, this push, pull, lift, and then we learned to do this stroke. We're taking it now and we're turning it, making it a comma stroke. So we can make the comma turn, right? We can, and it's the same. It's like a push and it's a pull and it's a lift, but we're turning it now. So with that simple turn, we give that stroke a whole new look. So I'll go over that again really quick in case. I'll just grab some orange here. So we can, when I'm thinking about a snapdragon, I know there's like a top of the flower, there's like a top, and then there's a bottom of the flower. That's not a snapdragon. So when we look here, there's kind of like a piece sticking up and then there's a piece down here. So I'm going to show you how, when I think of a snapdragon, just the flower, I'm going to show you how I paint that in loose style. We're not being realistic here. We're just going for the idea of a snapdragon. And there's many stalk flowers that you can paint in the same way. So for the top, I would come down, pull down and lift. So I'm doing that stroke that we learned last week, the comma stroke, but we're keeping it straight, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing off to the side, press, I'm gonna pull down, right? I'm just gonna pull down and I'm gonna pull back to the center. If you can repeat that stroke, so we could do a whole bunch of this sideways press, pull, and over. Now, I know I'm left-handed, right? So how dare I forget that if you're right-handed, it's going to look maybe a little bit different for you. And you might want to pull your brush a different way. But the same thing, we're going to come in off from the side. We're going to press down all the way, touch the belly of the brush. We're going to use that belly of the brush hairs. We're going to pull that back down towards ourselves. I don't have enough water. Get a little bit more. Press down, and then I'm going to pull up and pull back. So I'm pressing, pulling, and lifting back to a point, but I'm pulling that at an angle to make a comma. And depending on which way you want, which hand you are, it's going to, you know what I mean. It's going to look the same, just flipped. So let me put a little bit more water here. So I'm going to show you real quick. And then we're just going to get into making some flowers. All right. So all right. I put in the wrong color, but it's fine. So I am just going to start here now. Pull, press down. I'm going to lift and pull back to the point there. I know. You're like, what the heck, Kim? That just looks like a blob, right? So let me show you when we combine the strokes that we learned last week to the stroke that we're practicing right now, and we add some extra color in there, we are going to make some snapdragons. Clean my brush again. Where's my pencil? Let's get a pencil, and we're going to do one. Let's just do one here. I'm going to turn my paper to the side. Make sure I'm in. So I'm just going to draw kind of like a straight line, just bending just a little bit, okay? I'm not going to worry about my green just yet. I'm going to go in with my color, or I can with my green. I'll change my mind here. Let's just do it, guys. So I'm going to grab some of this really bright, vibrant green. A little bit too vibrant, but hey, we're going to work with it. And at the top of the snapdragon, let me just pull this back over because we're just going to use this reference. This one here is good. We're going to start at the top. Okay, so I'm going to just tap that brush, and I'm going to have all of these coming back to this main stem of the flower that I drew with my pencil. I'm up way high, right? So I'm just going to do a few of those. They don't have to be perfect. Do you see what I'm doing? I am just tapping that brush and bringing it over to that center point. Oh, and we're not focusing on the paper either. All right, let's give it a chance. So I'm going to rinse that off. I hope I'm making this followable. Hi, Teresa. Did you paint the violets? I'm so glad. So we're just continuing from the violets. We're taking that stroke. We're practicing the comma stroke here again, making them bigger and just modifying them. So we're going to make a snapdragon. We put 3 comma strokes together, and now we're going to practice putting one stalk together. But at the top, just take notice at the top. Let's look at this one. At the top, they're smaller open, and they get bigger as they go down to the bottom. I can't either. I'm so excited. Every time I see someone new come in there, I just get so excited. So just when you look at this and like blur your eyes, because we're not going for, with our painting today, we're going for loose, and loose can be a struggle if you're not used to just letting things happen. And hello, that's me. So anyway, we're going to start up here. I did my little dots with my green. Okay, and that's really a bright, bright green. I'm going to just start doing the same with my pink. I'm just going to add a dot and a dot. And maybe I'll just add two or three, and I'll just pull them back to the center, right? So I just did little dot, 2 dots in the middle, 2 dots, and then another like a line. Okay, now I want to do a few that are opening here. So just like I did there, I'm going to start, pull down, and lift up. Okay, I have a lot of water on the brush, and that's fine. I'm painting loose. So then I'm going to start off to the side, press, drag down, pull back to the point, and come back to the middle again. Okay, same here. Press to the belly of that brush, pull down, pull back over to the point, and lift up. Hi, Kim. How are you? Thanks for joining in. I know we had a little bit of technical difficulty. It threw me for a little bit, but we're back on. I'll fix the video and get it back up on the YouTube. So we're starting here to make, these are just our practice. We're going to go to our art journal here, or a separate piece of paper, in just a second. Andrea, I hope so. I'm so excited. And look what happens when you add in another color. Just drop some orange in the center. I apologize that it looks so blurry. We're going to keep going though. So I can do one here. See how fast, watch how fast you can do this, right? Press, pull down and lift. Grab some more color. Press, pull down and lift. Press, pull down and lift. So we're meeting like 3 in the middle. Okay? And then where the fun comes in before all of this dries is that I can come and get some of my green, and I could just bring this down the stalk of that flower. It is going to hit some of my flower petals, which is fine. It's going to bleed into the color, but that gives you that softness, that delicate feel of watercolor. You can add, this is the thing with watercolor, it's just fun, right? And I'm just going to do that pull, push, pull, and lift back and make a few leaves. I can make them nice and thick and fat. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so let me put this to the side. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that so much. All right, so I'm going to get my journal, wherever I put it. Again, things have been hiding from me today. Where did I just put that? Here it is. All right. So I'm going to move my watercolor just for a second. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you like this and you think someone else might like it, feel free to give it a little bit of a sprinkle out into Facebook land, or if you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share if you like what you see. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just trying. Now, this was a full page of peonies. I know some of you guys want to see the peonies, and we're going to get on to peonies, but we have to start somewhere and move on. So last week we did our full page spread of our violets, and then today I'm just going to work in my journal. This way I don't feel stressed out that it has to be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to pull my reference over. These are my snapdragons. Your stalk flowers, all kind of the same. So these could be snapdragons. These could be lilacs. These could be hollyhocks. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that so very, very much. Thank you for hanging out with me. So I'm going to pull my watercolor. Oh, there's just not enough room. I'm going to pull my watercolor up here again. Now, we saw how bright that green was. I want to dull it down a little bit. So this is just a tiny little lesson in color theory. I can take some red and add that into my green, and that is going to give me a muted down green that got a little bit too red, too brown. So we'll do that again. Look, it's just watercolor, no biggie. So I'm going to take this green, add some there, and just to tap a little bit of that red, right? So we can mute that down a little bit more, a little bit at a time, and lots of water, right? All right. So I just want to fill up my page. We're just going to do and fill up the page. We can put in a few. Let's see, are we up far enough? Let's start down here. I'm just going to pull some stems up from the bottom, maybe 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you can use your pencil. Sorry, we're a little losing the feed got me a little discombobulated, but I'm going to let it go, right? So I know that I want this one to come up like this. I want this one to cross over, and maybe this one to go this way, right? So I'm going to take that green, and I'm just going to make 3 or 4 little taps with my brush like those. 1, 2, 3. I can make as many as I want down the flower, right at the top. These are just to stimulate the little buds that are growing at the top of the flower. So you see how I'm just tapping the brush. We're keeping it loose. Right? We're going to keep that loose. I'm going to clean it. Now, pick a color or 2. The reason I brought this over is because I loved the colors. If you look in here, there's like a hint of yellow in the inside of those snapdragons. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab some of my pink, and I'm going to continue tapping just like I did there. Tap, tap. I'm making almost like little heart shapes. You see that? I'm going to just make a little bit bigger as I come down, a little bit bigger. Then I can start really pulling that, dragging and pulling to the center. And I'm okay with the fact that they're going to kind of come together. I'm going to drop some yellow in there. See how I did here? It's almost like boom and drag, drop, pull and drag, drop, pull and drag. We're going to do the same over here. I'm going to clean my brush. We are going for somewhat like the snapdragon. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so as I did over here. press, pull, lift, press, pull, lift. They got a little bit big, but that's okay. There's like 3 of those strokes meeting at one spot. And I'm going to tap in a little bit of yellow there. Right? I'll do the same over here. Do you guys liking this? You think it's something you can do? I hope so. Right now, it's just about learning those strokes. And the loose style is not for everybody. Our Flamingo watercolor workshop is going to be more of a tighter style, like this one. And we'll learn to letter. Day 3 is like a bonus day. I'm going to teach you this really loose floral rose, and you could do an alternate for the body. So if you haven't signed up yet, guys, it is free. There is a kit available as well. It's optional. You do not have to. I should have done these at the end, right? But it's okay. That's why I do this in my watercolor art journal, right? Because not everything always goes as planned. So I'm going to grab my other palette. I like the green in this other one. Right, so I'm going to just grab my green, wet it a little bit. Okay. Let's try this again. You guys with me? We'll try it again. One more time. Let's really lighten up this pink. We're not going to put the green in until the end. With me? So we're going to look at this, okay? Imagine where you want the 3 flowers, 4 flowers, 1 flower to be. So imagine like a line there. I'm going to tap, 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 and I'm just making little tapping, little buds down the flower. And I can do a couple of those. Tap, tap, tap. I'm just tapping that brush lightly, right, on the paper. You can do a whole bunch of these. Right? So let's do some more. I'll make them a little bit taller, maybe a little bit brighter. Right? And as we come down, they're going to get a little bit bigger. So it's just like that comma stroke. I'm pressing, pulling to the center. And you see how those 3 kind of formed together to make the bigger flower. Just like here. 2, 3. And you can switch up your colors, right? As you saw me do earlier, you can come in now. Let's come in now and do some here. Let's do some with an orange. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap. I'm going to just make a whole bunch. I'm going to do 2 and have them meet in the middle. One comma stroke. I'm going to do 1 coming up and just have them meet. There is no perfection, right? So over here, tap and pull, tap and pull, tap and pull. We're pulling back to one place. We're either pulling to a center, 3 or more petals together, 3 petals together or 2. But you see, it just gives the hint. Gives the hint of the flowers. So I'm going to do 1 more over here with the orange. Tap, tap. And as you come down, start getting bigger. Have them meet. Right? So it's just that comma. It's you're pushing, pulling, and lifting to a point. Pushing, pulling, and lifting. Push, pull, lift. You can overlap. Throw in some extra. I just grabbed a little bit of red on that same brush. Push, pull, and lift. Push, pull, and lift. Push, pull, and lift. Right, so I'm coming all back in to a center. I'm just keep doing that. Okay. But you see how the 2 colors combine and blend, and it just looks really pretty. So now I'm going to come in before this is dry. And I want to tap in a few of those lighter green at the top. They look like the buds of the snapdragon. I'm going to do that for all of these. And I'm going to just pull that down through the flowers, right? It doesn't have to meet each one. It can just be here and there. Pull it down. Make your little stems. But see how I'm letting them touch, and the stems all come to the middle. I'm letting them touch some of the petals, and that color is going to mix, and that's fine. That's what we want it to do. Right? So I can pull all those back so they're not floating in midair. If you guys have questions, please drop them in the comments. I know I feel like I'm rambling a little bit tonight, and I apologize, but that's all right. Not every day is going to be amazing. So then our push, pull, lift, and we're going to stretch it. So we're going to make a few leaves. Pull in, press, pull, pull, pull back, and lift up. I don't know what is there. Get that off of there. I can come in with that really bright green too. Let's add some of that different bright green just for fun. And I'm press pull, and I'm just making leaves the same way. Oh. Okay. So what do you guys think, right? What do you guys think? Are you going to give this a shot? I promise you our other videos are better, and these turned out a lot better than the others, but just goes to show I struggle too at times. You know, I have, I guess, a little bit of performance anxiety. You know, it's pretty hard, and this is what I'm gonna get at right now. I understand the struggle of a beginner artist who maybe has never picked up a paintbrush, or who has painted acrylic all their life, or, you know, this is the first time they're ever going to try watercolor. Making art for yourself is one thing. Making art and sharing it with the world is a very vulnerable experience. So I want you to know that whenever you are painting with me in my groups, in any of my courses or workshops, or watching any of my videos, I don't ever want you to feel uncomfortable asking a question. I don't ever want you to feel that you're not a good enough artist. I understand the vulnerability of that, what you are making, and you're putting it out to the world to say they either like it or they don't. Or, you know, I understand there's that vulnerability there. Um, but anyway, I really am so blessed that you guys came and hung with me for a little bit tonight. Videos are just going to keep getting better. I haven't been live in a while, so we're getting back to Watercolor Wednesday, loose florals, and I really would love to know what flower you want to paint the most. Um, I know what we're going to paint next week, but I'm not telling you yet. Okay, so see if you can guess. And with that, guys, go get yourself a watercolor art journal and just start playing. Have fun. I'll see you soon. Bye.